Hi, all of my fellow book nerds, and welcome to another video. We are going to talk about the journal, the digital book journal that I created for 2026. Originally, I was going to do just like a regular paper journal, but honestly, I love my digital journal so much more. I have so much more freedom with decorating, and honestly, in the long run, I feel like it's cheaper. The equipment I am currently using, I have a first edition iPad Pro. And so obviously, having one of these does cost more money, but I still feel like in the long run, if you were to calculate supplies, so markers and washi tapes and scrapbooking paper, I used to scrapbook. So I actually have scrapbooks that I made when my kids were babies. Trust me when I say that all of that stuff adds up really quickly. Anyways, I have my iPad Pro here. I have an Apple Pencil that I am using, and I kind of use like my fingers, and I also use the Apple Pencil at the same time. And the program I'm using is GoodNotes. You can find that in the App Store. I have the paid version because I like the availability that I have to maneuver throughout my journal super easily, and I will get more into that as we go through my journal. Pretty much I found all of my stickers and everything online and just placed them around, and this is kind of what I decided to go for with the cover of my journal. I don't know, I might change it at some point. I don't know. I feel like some of this doesn't necessarily fit, but at the same time, it's a book journal. So, I don't know. The great thing about the digital journals is if I don't like something, I can just here, I gotta get in here. I can just click on it and then automatically delete it, or I can change something if I don't like it. It gives me a lot of availability to do that. Moving on, I kind of did myself a little bit of a title page. I've got the year 2026 down here, and then a quote, once upon a time, there was a woman who dreamed of reading, so she did. I made that up. I think that there might be quotes out there that are similar to this, but I couldn't remember the exact words, but the premise is pretty much the same. As you can also tell from the cover of my journal and throughout this, I kind of wanted to go with a very much fantasy, fairy tale, fairy sort of vibe. And my favorite color is green, so I wanted to definitely incorporate a lot of green in this journal. This is, again, my very first time doing this. I'm gonna grow and change as I go, and something tells me that as I use this throughout the year, things might change, or I might decide to want to do things differently next year. So here we have my table of content. Now, I like this not just for the fact that I can know exactly what is in my book journal, but because I do the paid version of GoodNotes, if I wanted to go to a specific page, all I have to do is tap on it and it'll take me there. So just for context here, oh, I love this fairy. She's so cute. And I gave her a little bit more of a rainbowy look because I wanted her to stand out a little bit more amongst all the green. So anyways, getting back to what I was saying, I'm just going to click on the first page, which is literally right here. But if I want to go to say something different, all I have to do is tap on it and it'll take me directly there. So then here I've got my 26 books for 2026. This is a little bit of a challenge that I wanted to do. And so basically I just picked 26 books. I actually did a video on this if you guys want more information as to why they're on here, what the books are about. I took that list from that video and I made a whole page for it. And as you can see, I've already read 2 of those books. As I read them, because right now what I did is I just did a square and I just wrote the names in, and then as I read them, I take the actual picture of the book and I will replace it and put it there. It definitely had, because it's 26 books and I didn't want to make them too terribly small. I wanted to really make it central. So I didn't add too much decoration to this. I figured that once this is filled up with all of the book images and stuff, it would basically decorate itself. So next, I decided that I wanted to do the ABC challenge for 2026. I've seen people do these. They look fun. And right now, I'm doing a really, really good job of filling this in. But I can imagine that within the next 6 months, it's probably going to get harder and harder to do this because right now, you know, it's the first books of the month, so everything is going to seem new and easy to put in here. For Zodiac Academy, I had debated on whether I was going to put that as a Z because it is Zodiac Academy, but I decided that I was going to, because yes, it is Zodiac Academy, but technically the name of this book is Cursed Fates, which is a C, so I put that in the C category. That's just kind of my look, and I absolutely loved it. I tried to make it kind of like fairy tale-ish in a way, but like I couldn't really find anything that fit with kind of like the ABC vibe. So, but I did add a unicorn and a little fairy over here. So kind of, it can work, right? So next is my 100 book reading challenge. I got 99 books last year, and I feel like if I had a better tracker system last year, I might have been able to get that 100 books in, even though 100 books wasn't my challenge last year. Last year, my challenge had been 60 books, so I definitely went over that. So I did meet that challenge, but this now tells me that I have the ability to read 100 books, and I feel that by having this set up, I will be able to do that. For this page, all I did is I went online and I found a kind of like a template of this bookshelf here, and then I just downloaded it onto the page and I added some like washi tape images that I found. What I did is I colored and I used the highlighter tool with my Apple Pencil, and I just colored in all of it and designed it. And like, so you can like zoom in and draw. So now you can see there's definitely some mess ups here. I am not used to coloring on GoodNotes, and the highlighter is really crazy because like I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys this because yeah. So we're gonna go to the highlighter, and let's see if I can find the exact color I used. Oh no, I need to go to highlighter. Highlighter. Okay, so there's the brown I used. Now you see this very light color over here. If you lift up your Apple Pencil for whatever reason and then you go back down, it's gonna make the color darker, right? And then I lift up and now look, now it's even darker on top of that dark. See how it's different colors, and if you lift up at all, it goes dark again. And so anytime you lift up your pen, it like, look at that's just horrible. So now I gotta delete to get it back. So I was really struggling with that because you cannot lift your Apple Pencil at all when you are drawing. So I definitely had some oopsies that when you scroll in, you can kind of see those, but you know what, when it's zoomed out like this, you can't tell too terribly much. And so, you know, I'm not going to worry about it. And then as I read a book, I will go ahead and I will color it in. I started out using the colored pencil feature because I thought maybe that would be easier than using the highlighter. But for filling in books, you can kind of see it looks a little wonky right here because the color pencil does like a different weird texture. So then I went back to using the highlighter for these other ones, and I like that look so much better. And it's really easy. It doesn't take much time to just go in and fill in one of the books when you're ready to do that. And so it's a great way to track your books. Okay, and then I decided I was going to do a book bingo, and I'm actually really excited about this. And my plan is to I've got a wheel, and every time I have to do a book for the new month, one of those book choices is going to be from my bingo list. I have a wheel on my phone that's going to allow me to do that, so that's pretty exciting. And then my plan is, let's get back into this. So when I pick one and I complete it, I'm just going to click on this dragon and I'm going to hit duplicate. And then I will put that over whatever, say the wheel gives me A1 and I complete that. I will then put a dragon over top of that in A1. And then I can just keep doing that for every time I complete one. Now, if I don't complete it, if I don't get to it, then I'm just going to leave it blank and try again the next month. The plan for me, because I'm new to book bingo, is to, like, I'm so new that I did A, B, C, D, E, right? Like I didn't even think about doing a bingo and setting it up like that. So that's how new I am. But I just like this concept, so I'm leaving it. We might change it next year, who knows? For me right now, I'm going to consider it a bingo if I can get across or all the way, either this way or this way, all the way across. I'm not going to do a whole filler right now. My plan is just this way or this way. And then once that is done, then I'm done with this. So, and as you can see, I got little dragons, so they're so cute. Now, these are my book series. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's insane. I have so many. What I did is as I read them, I color their coordinating box in. See, and as you can see, I was struggling with that highlighter again. I'll get the hang of it, I swear. The ones that aren't out yet, I put the month and the day that it's supposed to come out in margins. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that up for next year. I don't know. It just seems easier for me. I know some people, they do with their series trackers, they just put the books that are available, and then the ones that are coming out in the year of their journal, they have a whole separate page that's just dedicated like every month, and it has names written down on what like books are supposed to come out for that month. I thought about doing that, but I changed my mind. I just like it this way much better, because then I can just come in here to my series tracker and go, okay, you know, the Kindred Curse saga. Okay, these are all books available, and this one right here doesn't come out until July. Okay, so then see, they're all set with their list, and then when it comes out, I can just delete this and then put that in there. See, that's another great thing about doing a digital journal, because I can easily just come in and I can change whatever I want to change. I can delete whatever I want to delete, color whatever I want to color. I don't have to worry about being stuck with it because it's glued in there. This gives me a lot of freedom. As you can see, I have so many series that I have to complete. And in fact, I dedicated a second page to this, and I might have to do a third. So, which is really easy, because all I can do, I can go into my, here, you know, again, I'm just going to show you guys. I can go into this pages thing here, and right here, I can click on these little arrows, and I can add a page before this. I can add a page after this. So again, I am not stuck anywhere. I can add a page anywhere in here that I want. So if I feel like I need another page for my series tracker as I go, then I can easily put that in there and then decorate it, and then it'll all be nice and seamless. And that's another thing that I love about the digital journal, because I'm not stuck. But yeah, I have so many series that I have to complete, and I've got more that I have, books that I have purchased that are book ones of series. So, and I'm not planning on putting them in here until after I've read book one. Yeah, I know I'm going to have more, but I didn't want to add any more until I actually read book one. I had started putting series in here that I hadn't read any books in yet, but then I had stopped myself, and I was like, no, okay, this is enough. You know, until I've read book one, I'm not going to add any more to my series. Next, we have favorites. So as you can see, I already have 3 favorites for 2025. I'm not exactly sure if I want to keep it this way or if I want to change it. I know what some people do is they pick one book for each month they would consider their top favorite. And so then they have a favorite book for each month of the year. I might change it to that, but I don't know, because I also know that at least for me, at the end of 2025, I wanted to do a video talking about all of my favorite books from 2025. You know, having all of them here without having to make too many choices, because what if I have 2 God tier books in the same month? I don't want to have to pick between the 2 of them. I could put both of them in here. I'm not limited to just one book. Again, I can play with this throughout the year. I might decide that I want to add another page onto this and make that just my top book of each month. So I might add that in there. But I loved my design of this. I loved the stars that I added in, and I added a little bit of blue so that it would offset a little bit of the gold. And I loved the fairy. She's so pretty. Okay, and then I put my worst books. And of course, I was looking for a lot of blacks and a lot of dark. And so far, I've lucked out. I haven't had a book that I thought was absolutely horrendous. My plan is to do a whole video on my worst books of 2026. And so those books are going to go on this page. And again, just like in all of my other ones, if I need more space, I can easily add a page and decorate that and then just keep going. Okay, next we have my January TBR lists. Okay, so these are the books that in one of my first videos of 2026, I had these picked out, and I have one for each month, and we're going to go through those together. But what I also did is I did a January reads. So then you've got the TBR. These are the books that were picked for me for my TBR jar, or whatever, however it is that I decided to do it for each month. And then I put those books here. Now, originally, I like to try to stick with 6 books because that leaves me room to be able to mood read and things like that too. But if it changes, it changes, that's fine. But right now, I just did space for 6 books. And then as I get them, I put them in there. Now, what I did is I added a little portway, like a little button that will allow me to go straight from my January TBR to my January reads. So then I just hit this button, and then now I'm in my January reads. Now I went ahead and deleted my ratings for each of the books that I've read so far. So you're gonna have a bit of a spoiler on my next upcoming video because I'm gonna be talking about all the books that I read in January. You guys just won't know what I rated them. But these are my books. And so like I said, I did, I think 15 or 16 squares for each month for reads, because that's about on average. I can't do more than like 15 books. 15, 16 is actually pushing it. So I left it like that. And then as I read one of the books, I get the picture and I put it in and I kind of match it up with the square. And then so I'll kind of just show you when I read the book and I put the picture in, what I'll do is I'll come into I'll use the colored pencil and just kind of zoom in here. And then I will just color in the stars. See what I mean by the colored pencil though? It's so crazy. But yeah, kind of does that. And then it looks good once you zoom it out, it looks good. And if I don't like something, right, I can just erase it. Just erase it. So then now I have it set up to where, say I want to go back to my January TBR, all I have to do is click back into my January TBR. Now something I haven't done yet, but I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little portal thing so that if I want to go straight from one of these pages back to my table of contents, I can, because then that way I can go straight from here to my table of contents and then from there to whatever page that I want to go to. I just haven't done that yet. That's my January TBR. So here's the February TBR. See, I kind of just left squares where the pictures are going to be at. This way I could decorate how I wanted to decorate it and make sure I had room for the book images when it was time to put them in there. And then again, I did the same thing. This is my February TBR, and then this is my February reads. Again, I have all my squares in there, and then as I read them, I'll put in the images. Okay, and then we got March. Yes, I had to add the 4-leaf clovers, and I got the pots of gold, but I also got a really cute little fairy in there and the little 4-leaf clover wreath, and I really tried to bring in the St. Patty's Day vibes, but also in kind of like a fantasy setting. And that is my March reads. Again, pretty little fairies, got the pots of gold and the 4-leaf clovers, and again, all of my little spots to put my books and to color in the stars. Okay, and then here's my April TBR. I loved the bunnies. The bunnies had to go in there. And of course, you know, I had to have some kind of a fairy. I really like how my April TBR ended up. Originally, I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to like it or not, but it actually looks really cute. Hold on, there we go. And then here is my April read. So again, I absolutely loved how this turned out with the little fairies and the fairy with the bunnies. I just thought, oh, it's just super cute. Okay. And then my May TBR, I really wanted May to have a lot of like flowers and butterflies. I kind of want to really give it that spring feel to it. I picked stickers that, you know, with images that have like flowers and stuff in them. And I just loved how this turned out. And then here are the May reads. Again, flowers, flower butterflies, and the same kind of text. For June, I don't know why, but I just had strawberries stuck in my head for June. So I decided that we were going to go fantasy, fairy, strawberry mixture kind of thing. And I actually like how this turned out. I'm also thinking about maybe adding a couple more of these cute little strawberries, or maybe finding just, something kind of more similar to this, but maybe smaller, and adding a few little bits of them around to just add a little bit more. But also I feel like this is already very bright. And then once we add the images of the books, that it's going to be just where it needs to be. And then here's our June reads. I love how this one turned out. Now this one took me a little bit of work. I mean, well, technically all of them did, because you have to fit so many book covers on one page. So I was really struggling with trying to get everything to fit. And sometimes things wanted to connect. So if I tried to move this one, all of this wanted to go with it. And it was a bit of a frustrating process. And then trying to get all of the stars to kind of line up with the images that are going to be going in there without it meshing too much. I did it. It looks good. And I got them all to fit. Sometimes this does this to me and I'm just like, okay, there, now we're back. How you have to set it up. You have to remember where you put it, because you put an image over top of it. And so sometimes you have to remember where exactly to press. Okay. And then July, obviously 4th of July. And so I made it very, festive with all the fireworks and things like that. So this is my July TBR, and she is so cute. I love her dress. I actually want to make that because I think that would be so cute. And then here will be where I put my July reads. Again, very festive, very 4th of July. I like how I added the red up here and the blue down here. Amount of stuff that you can do with digital stuff is it's crazy. And I had so much fun making this journal. See, there's another one of those things where I gotta find where that, okay, yeah, there's July. Okay, here's the August TBR. I went kind of beach themed with this because August is the heart of the summer where I live. And so I put a sun fairy in here and kind of summery things with the sun, ice cream cones, sunflowers, beach lettering for the August TBR. And I just love how that turned out. Okay, and then there is my August reads. And again, kind of beach vibey here. I did more beach vibe. And so got the whole beach thing down here, and I found this cute little fairy, and I positioned her in a way to kind of make it look like it all, like she was at the beach. And I just love how this felt. I need to fix things a little bit because I've got a star right here that's kind of encroaching on one of the squares here, and I'm not liking that too terribly much, so I'm going to need to fix that. Which honestly, I'll just show you guys how I do that real quick. So basically all I have to do is I just have to grab it and then move it up and over and up a little bit. And then ta-da, it's all fixed. So now it's not encroaching in there anymore. Back to August reads. And then September. September, we start getting into fall and the leaves, and I just really wanted to give this some major fall vibes, and I absolutely love this fairy. She's super cute. And then here will be where I put my September reads, again with all of the leaves. I tried to match the TBR lists and that month's reads, tried to keep them roughly the same type of theme here. And then October TBR. And I love this whole haunted pumpkin patch thing with this cute fairy that kind of goes in the center of that. I loved these letterings. They're interesting to get on there. Again, I will show more of that process when I make my 2027 digital one, but I loved how this turned out. And then here's my October reads. And again, I just added a bunch of stuff here, made it all kosher, make it look good. I put him in there. And then the great thing about this is you can position your stickers to make whatever it is you want to be in the forward or behind something, and just move it around and put it exactly how you want it. So for me, I made sure to add all of these and then all of the stars first. And so that way I knew kind of where I want that centered. And for the most part the size I wanted, and then I started adding stickers. But sometimes, like when I put this in, it was really getting in the way, so then I still had to take some of these and adjust them and make them smaller and change them a little bit. So it definitely takes some finagling, but it was a lot of fun. Okay, so for November, it kind of had the same kind of vibes as September in a way with the pumpkins and the leaves, but I tried to add more Thanksgiving-y type of stuff. So we have our turkey and our little cooking fairy and berries and things like that for the November TBR. And then again for the November reads, I try to do the same. Again, same kind of concept. We got our pumpkins, and we have our fairy sleeping in a basket. And I just love how this turned out. It gives all of the warm vibes, which is definitely what I was going for. And then December, Christmas, definitely had to be Christmas vibes. And look at this fairy, you guys. She is so cute. Oh man, oh, so cute. I want to cosplay her, just like that. But anyways, I'm digressing. So I put lots of this. I cannot wait until I can put the images in with this. It's going to pop beautifully. I love it. And again, if I end up deciding to read more books for my TBR, I can easily change these to add more if I want to. I'm going to just continue on from here now, because how I did it is I'll just kind of show you guys. So I did all of my TBRs, and see, so like January TBR, February TBR, March TBR, they're all right next to each other. That's how come I made it to where you could easily get. Okay, I say this and then it's doing this to me. Stop that. There, now it's working. So that's why I made it to where you could jump, because literally it's going to go from all of the TBRs straight into all of the reads. And again, that's why I made the ability to be able to jump between them easier, so I don't have to sit here and just keep turning every single page. Of course, you can also, we'll go back in here. You can also click on this, just like what I showed you guys earlier, and it'll also take you to whatever page that you want to do. Okay, and then for the last one that I have, I actually joined a digital club. I signed up for Fable with some of my friends, and I found a club that I really liked, and I joined that. We just finished We Who Will Die. We do not know what the February reads is going to be yet. They do it a little bit differently. Instead of starting with the first of the month, they start on the 3rd of the month. That's when that read starts, and we haven't picked our book yet. She just recently asked for recommendations on what book we should pick. So I'm not exactly sure when we're going to start the voting process on what book we're going to read. So currently I don't know what book we're going to read. But I decided to keep this separate from the my TBR list. And so I'm going to have my TBR list. I'm going to have my book bingo, and then I'm going to have my club reads. So that's going to give me 8 books for each month. Which, by the way, if I read 8 books a month, that will get me to my goal of 100 books in a year. So that's what Fable told me. They're like, because I set up my whole 100 years goal on Fable as well, and it basically sets it up for you, and it says, hey, read 8 books a month and you'll make your goal. Also, just to let you know, the TBRs aren't set in stone either. Sometimes I'm really good about reading all of the books on my TBR first. There's been other times where I just haven't been in the mood for some of the books that got picked for me, and I ended up mood reading different books, and then I just didn't get around to reading all the books on my TBR. So that's kind of what makes it fun too, in a way, though, in my opinion, because then you look at the books that were picked for you for your TBR, and then you get to go back and you get to look at the books that you actually read in January and see how it was different, if you read more, if you read less. It's kind of fun to look at it. It's like a will she or won't she get to them sort of thing, and it's kind of fun. So anyways, that is my book journal and my whole look through with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want me to make a video when I'm like walking through my whole process when I'm building my 2027 journal, I can easily do that. Who knows, maybe even I could even do a live, and then you guys can help me build it by helping me pick images and things like that. That might be kind of fun. I have never done a live yet. I am new to YouTube, so I'm still getting used to the nuances of it, but yeah, just let me know down in the comments below if it might be something you'd be interested in. Don't forget to hit this like button if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more digital journal content. If you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed and you'd like to stick around, I'm just a woman who likes to talk everything books. And I love talking about books with other people and just nerding out. I'll see you guys in my next video.